Today, I would like to speak with all of you about why our communities must demand job training and mentorship right now. Imagine this: a young Muslim brother, bright, finishes high school, full of hopes. Now, he's ready to support himself or even take care of his family, because some people, they get married really early. So he wants to take care of his family. He's trying to take care of his family. Or maybe even help his parents out. But he's unable to. And months turn into years. And he's still stuck in that same low-paying job. He's got no new skills and nobody to take him by his hand and lead him as like a mentor. Or I want you to think about it from another avenue. A young sister who wants to open her own business. The problem is she's got the dream of doing it. She just has no clue as to where to start. She has no access to training and no one to show her the ropes. Now, how many more of our people need to be sitting around struggling in silence before we realize that our economic situation will not change unless we actively demand the tools that we need to change it? And where do we demand them from? We demand them from our communities. Now, why is this so important to you? Now, as usual, I'm going to discuss this from three different aspects. The personal lens. I'm sure enough of you have watched my videos enough to know these three aspects: the personal lens, the communal lens, and the future lens. All right? So let's start with the personal lens. If you don't get access to training or guidance, you're left having to figure things out on your own. This isn't just about missing out on a better paycheck. It's about actually living life every day with the stress of knowing that you can't provide for yourself or your family. Understand and think about it. You know people that live like this. You know that stress affects not only health, but it affects yours and their relationship. And it also, even bigger than that, it affects your worship. Now, that's on the personal side of things. On the communal side of things, when we as a community, we ignore the help that is, or I should say the need for job training, for job counseling, for mentorship, and the likes. We're accepting that, what do they call those? A cycle of economic struggle, as they say. Now, in our communities, we build more and more masjids. Or the word is masjid. All right, so we're going to start correcting some of these incorrect terminologies that we use. Masjid. We build more and more masjid. All right? But the problem is, inside of all of these new masajid, there are families that are still having to and forced to live paycheck to paycheck. And it's not just living paycheck to paycheck, struggle paycheck to paycheck. How is it possible that in our communities we're talking about uplifting the ummah without addressing our ability to stand on our own 2 feet financially? All right. Now, this is the communal lens, or the community lens, I should say. I know one of you had left a nice little comment on one of my videos talking about the fact that I kept saying communal lens, the community lens, so everyone's happy. Then we have the future lens. If we keep moving at this pace, what we're doing right now, then the next generation will face the same problems that we're facing. And 9 times out of 10, because the world is getting worse, the economic situation is getting worse, and all of the rest of that, their situation will probably even be worse than ours. The cost of living will rise. The job markets are going to change. And as a matter of fact, if you look around, they're changing now. I don't know if you're paying attention or not. So without the skills, our youth are going to be left behind. We cannot afford to wait for outside help. Because as you see, for generations, it hasn't come. It's not going to come. We need to make this change within. We need to plant the seeds right now for a strong economic future. And when we talk about, real life and how does all this apply to our everyday living now? Our youth are graduating. You see it every day. It's not like everyone's dropping out and all of the rest of that. People are graduating. But the issue is that they're not obtaining those skills that the employers want. Now, that's the youth. You have some of the older brothers and sisters that have been in jobs for long periods of time. Years, if not decades. But they've lost their jobs, or technology has replaced them, and they have no backup skills. It's not like we have a bunch of ignoramuses living in our community. We have a lot of bright, creative minds living in our communities. But many of them never get the chance to shine because there's no structure to help them grow. And when they ask for the help, they're often met with silence or just told, work harder without anyone giving them any real direction. And now that it's not us saying this to someone, now we're hearing someone else say it. We see that this does not help. It's not of any assistance. So as you know, I always tell y'all, I'm not going to just give y'all lay the problem out in front of you, but rather I'm going to give you the solution. So here it is. We need to normalize requesting and providing job training, counseling, and mentorship in our communities. We need to normalize these things. What does that mean? We need community leaders that are actively pushing for workshops and skill building programs. No more of this just sitting around and watching things happen and getting paid through the community. We need them to be working for the community. So next time you go to the masjid or the Islamic center and things along these sorts, you need to talk to these people. Either they can get it done within the masjid or outside of the masjid through some of the local programs. 2, the masajid and the Islamic centers. What they need to be doing is partnering with professionals to provide career counseling for the youth and for those older people that are looking to make a change in their careers or have been forced to make a change in their careers. All right? As well as experienced business owners and skilled workers. I remember they used to do this in the masjid. Not as a masjid project, but there were some of the older brothers. When Allah first guided me to Islam, when we got to the masjid, there were some of the older brothers. They would take some of us younger brothers and teach us their trade. There were brothers that were carpenters. There were brothers that were painters. There were brothers that were, what do they call them, plumbers. Would take us out and let us work with them for however long. so that we can start learning the trade, so we can start learning the skills we need to make some money. So we need these type of people to return back to the communities. And we need these people that weren't doing it, but they can do it, to mentor some of the young generation. You know, and either they can do it for free, do the work for free, just to learn the trade, or give them some type of affordable rates so that, you know, they can make a couple of dollars, put some money in their pocket. But in the long run, they're learning something that they can build off of, because that's what's important. And on an individual level, don't wait for someone to hand you an opportunity. Speak up at the community meetings. Ask your imam, ask the board members, and ask the elders in the community. What are we doing to prepare our people for the job market? Your voice just might be the one that gets the job done. But you have to make some effort, each and every one of you, when you go to these community meetings. And this is why it's so important for you to know when the community meetings are in your communities and take part in them, so that we can start solving for some of these problems. So I've done enough speaking for today. What I do want to know is, what do you think is really stopping our communities from creating a real job training and mentorship, or a mentorship, either way, a mentorship program? And be honest. I'd like to hear from those of you that are in the community that actually think about what it is that I'm saying. Leave a message in the comments, because I'd like to know. I'd appreciate the feedback. All right? And for those of you who are serious about improving yourself, or improving, I should say, the situation for yourself, your family, and your community, then what I want you to do is I want you to join us in the Next Level Muslims in our Patreon. But as I always tell all of you, and I've told all of you before, you, the ones that have joined with us, and for those of you who are going to come, this is not for passive followers and scrollers. This particular community is one for brothers and sisters who want to lead from the forefront, to create solutions, and to take ownership of our future. Inside it, we have real conversations and give actionable steps for growth, spiritually, mentally, as well as financially. All right? So like I said, I've done enough talking. The link to that Patreon group is actually in the description as well as in the comments. So I hope to see some of you inside. For those of you who are already part, Jazakumullahu khair. Inshallah, hopefully we'll be able to get together and have a live again soon. As you all know, I love all of y'all. I appreciate all of y'all. Don't forget, smash that like button a few times. All right? Share this with those people in your community that you know they need to hear this. Because if you're too shy to speak, you may share it with someone that might not be, that might actually get the job done. All right? So don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. And don't forget to leave the comments. Let me know what you think. All right? And inshallah ta'ala, I'll see you in the next video. Jazakumullahu khair wa barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.